Welcome to the Runner's Paradox podcast. This is a series where we really try to bring the book, The Runner's Paradox, to life.
Yeah, we're going beyond just the text, adding in, the latest research, hearing real stories from runners like you. It's all about helping you get a deeper understanding of your own running journey.
Exactly. And you can always find more info about the book itself, including how to grab the ebook, over on its website, therunnersparadox.com.
Our goal here really is to pull out the core wisdom of the runner's paradox, give you let's say, a concise, but still pretty expansive overview.
We want to hit those nuanced parts, the researched bits that, well, make this book connect with so many runners, whatever level they're at. So today we're doing just that, a summary of the foundational ideas in the runner's paradox. It kicks off with Ying's own story, doesn't it?
It does. A really intense period in her competitive running career. Lots of pressure, leading to some pretty scary physical symptoms.
Yeah, fainting, fatigue, weakness.
Yeah.
Things that, as the book explains, mostly came down to stress. It really grabs you from the start.
It really does. And after she stepped back from racing, she took this spontaneous trip overseas, kept running differently.
How so?
Well, no watch, no target times, no set distances, just running for the sheer fun of it, different places, exploring new kinds of running experiences.
Sounds amazing, like hitting a reset button.
Totally. It gave her the space, she writes, to kind of reassess her whole relationship with running. A beautiful reset, as you said.
And this experience, this moment, it led her straight to the core idea of the book, right? The runner's paradox.
Exactly. She had this realization, okay, she knew the physical stuff cold from her physiotherapy studies, the mechanics.
But she was still feeling weak, fatigued, burned out.
Right. Despite knowing the how-to physically, it hammered home that running is just so much more than putting one foot in front of the other.
So that's the paradox.
That's the heart of it. We're fundamentally born to run. It's deep in our human design. But, and this is the twist, we still have to genuinely learn how to run.
And that learning isn't just physical drills.
Not at all. It's mental, it's emotional, it's even philosophical. These aspects are crucial, absolutely vital for a healthy, enjoyable, sustainable relationship with running. Doesn't matter if you're elite or just starting out.
Okay, so the book moves beyond just the physical side pretty quickly then.
Yeah.
It really pushes this idea that true enjoyment comes from like a deeper awareness.
A deeper consciousness of the whole experience, yeah. Feeling the breeze, hearing your shoes, that rhythm of your breathing.
It flips the usual script, starting with the philosophical, then mental, emotional, then physical.
Wow.
Interesting.
Very. And it ties into something lots of runners chase, that runner's high. The book digs into the science here.
Oh, yeah. What does it say? Not just endorphins.
Not just endorphins, no. It highlights endocannabinoids. Think of them as your body's own cannabis-like molecules. And unlike endorphins, they cross the blood-brain barrier easily. Big impact on mood perception.
Wow. Okay.
And here's the kicker. Research shows trying to force that high, say on a treadmill in a sterile lab, often doesn't work, even with really intense effort.
So it's not just about how hard you run.
Seems not. It suggests the environment, the whole sensory experience, plays a massive role.
Right. So our surroundings really influence our minds, our bodies. The book suggests we need to be conscious about what we focus on. The sounds, the sights.
Exactly. Controlling your attention seems key to tapping into that euphoria. It's an active process, not just a byproduct of exertion.
Okay, so let's talk training versus just running for fun. How does the book define training?
It calls training an active pushing into discomfort, a deliberate, disciplined thing.
Sounds intense.
It can be. It links it to what the ancient Greeks called an aesthetic life, basically. A life shaped by self-mastery, by discipline.
And this pushing into discomfort, that's the path to self-knowledge, to unlocking potential.
That's the idea. Being consciously aware thoughts, feelings, body sensations during training builds what the book terms somatic memory and somatic endurance.
Somatic, meaning related to the body itself.
Precisely. Deep ingrained awareness, body-based memory and resilience. And that, the book argues, leads to more satisfaction, more longevity in the sport.
It also talks about how the environment isn't static, right? Even the same path changes.
Yeah, depending on the time of day, your intention for the run, it can feel totally different.
And challenges, like hills or wind, not just obstacles.
No, they're framed as opportunities for mental strengthening, physical adaptation. They remind you of your vulnerability, sure, but also your power to overcome.
What about racing? How does that fit in?
Racing introduces uncertainty. That jump from thinking I can't to knowing I can.
Because you can't just stop like in training.
Right, there's a public commitment, and it's uniquely intersubjective,
Meaning?
meaning it's shaped by everyone involved, runners, spectators, everyone's witnessing and being witnessed. It creates this powerful feedback loop, inspiration, shared struggle.
Like seeing yourself through more mirrors.
Exactly, leading to deeper self-knowledge. It's a fascinating take on the race environment.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. The mental side of things. The book is quite frank about how lonely long-distance running can feel.
It can be, yeah. Solitary, repetitive, and negative self-talk can definitely make that worse, amplify the struggle.
But it also says growth itself is often lonely, pushing boundaries.
If that's the counterpoint. There's a kind of paradox there too, isn't there? The very freedom running gives you space away from the constant connection.
Can also feel isolating.
Because maybe no one sees the daily grind, the small steps forward. Growth can feel a bit hazy, unrecorded externally.
The book also tackles the need to run. When does healthy dedication cross the line?
It explores how it can morph into obsessive passion, even addiction, often when running gets tangled up with self-worth.
Driven by fear. Fear of not winning, not hitting targets.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And that obsessive drive, the book warns, has real consequences, physically, mentally.
Puts huge stress on the body.
Hmm.
Creates psychological reliance.
Exactly. It draws a critical line. Harmonious passion fuels you. It brings joy, improvement. Obsessive passion that can lead to ignoring injuries, constantly chasing something elusive, never feeling satisfied.
But despite these potential pitfalls, the overall message about running is one of empowerment, right?
Absolutely. It calls running a brainless way to learn about life.
Brainless.
In a good way.
Yeah, not dumb. More like fundamentally embodied. It teaches you about freedom, about choice, through direct physical experience, not just thinking about it.
I like that. And the body-first approach to stress.
Oh, that's really insightful. Instead of just trying to mentally talk yourself down from anxiety,
The physical act of mindful running can actually regulate your nervous system.
directly impact your physiological stress response, yes. But the key is mindful running, focusing on your body's interaction with the world around you, feeling the ground, the air, your breath.
It all comes back to awareness, and this ties into the idea of excellence versus success. Definitely. Success, in the book's view, is often external. Podium finishes, PRs, it's relative, it can be fleeting, kind of all or nothing.
But excellence.
Excellence is presented as an internal mindset. Consistent effort, commitment to your own growth, regardless of the outcome on any given day. It's about your journey.
Okay, let's get physical. What does the runner's paradox say about running form and injury?
This is crucial. It points out that our bodies self-organize for efficiency, right? But that efficiency isn't always optimal or sustainable long-term.
Meaning we can develop bad habits without realizing.
Exactly. Dysfunctional movement patterns that creep in. And these often lead to injuries down the road.
And it stresses that it's not just about running form itself, but our daily habits, how we sit, stand.
Profoundly. Our off-the-road posture and movement patterns have a huge impact on our running gait and injury risk. It's all connected.
So things like forward head posture, too much body rotation, feet turning in or out. Those are signs.
Common examples, yeah. It emphasizes needing a well-stacked upper body, a stable pelvis. It's a whole system. Imbalances ripple through the chain.
And injuries aren't just bad luck then.
Rarely, according to the book. They usually stem from these underlying patterns or accumulated stress. Prevention is key.
Which means spotting warning signs before the pain really hits.
Yes, and doing prehabilitation exercises. The goal is to broaden your asymptomatic range.
Your pain-free capacity.
Yeah.
Building a buffer.
Exactly. Strengthening potential weak spots before they become a problem.
Speaking of problems in recovery,
Totally.
we actually asked some of you, our listeners, to share your toughest moments, your greatest sucky thing stories from running.
And we got some really powerful responses.
We did. Here's one from Sarah, who's listening over in Australia. Let's hear from her.
Hi, guys. For me, it was recovering from a shin splint. Every step felt unnatural. I doubted I'd ever run again. But over months, I learned to trust my body again. And that trust was built in those sucky, sweaty rehab sessions.
Wow. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing that. Shin splints are rough, and recovery is. Yeah, it's no joke. Can I ask, what was the absolute hardest part for you during that rehab?
Honestly, the first few weeks, I felt so weak. Even walking felt foreign. And mentally, I kept thinking, what if I never get back to where I was? That fear was heavier than the physical pain.
Oh, that resonates. That mental battle. Ying writes about this specifically in the rehab chapters, doesn't she? How injury forces you to slow down, confront not just physical limits, but your whole identity as a runner. Did you feel that too, Sarah?
Absolutely. I felt like I wasn't a real runner anymore, but over time I started to see running differently. It wasn't about speed or distance, it was about connection to my body.
I love that shift in perspective.
Yeah.
It sounds like rehab really changed things for you, not just physically, but mentally too. Was there a specific turning point you remember?
There was. One day during a particularly frustrating physio session, my therapist said, "You don't have to trust your shin yet, just trust the process." That stuck with me. It made me let go of the outcome and focus on the tiny daily wins.
That is so powerful, and it lines up perfectly with what the runner's paradox emphasizes in those rehab sections. Embracing the micro triumphs, right? Celebrating every small step, like bending your knee a bit more or walking without pain for 5 minutes.
And that's such a huge mindset shift, isn't it? Moving away from chasing PRs on your watch to just honoring progress, even when it feels tiny or invisible.
Exactly. Rehab taught me patience. Now, even post-recovery, I approach running with more gratitude. Every run feels like a privilege.
Sarah, thank you again. Your story is incredibly inspiring. It really brings home something from the book. Recovery isn't glamorous, but it's where resilience is forged.
Absolutely. And just a note for anyone listening who's maybe dealing with an injury or a setback right now, remember Sarah's words.
Yeah.
Your worth as a runner or just as a person, it isn't tied to your performance numbers. Sometimes just showing up for that hard, maybe boring rehab work, that's the most heroic thing you can do.
Building on Sarah's experience, let's tackle a few common questions that come up around injury and rehab through the lens of the book. First one, how do I stay motivated in rehab when I feel like I'm starting from zero?
That's a tough one. The book offers this perspective. Think of rehab as training for your nervous system, not just your muscles. As Ying explains, every small, consistent effort sends signals to your brain we're rebuilding. So the focus shifts, consistency over intensity. Celebrate those tiny neurological steps.
Okay, good advice. Question 2. What's one mental strategy for dealing with setbacks during recovery? Because they happen, right?
They definitely do. Visualization is mentioned as being really powerful. The book points to studies showing mental rehearsal can actually activate motor pathways even when you're immobilized. So picture yourself stronger, healthier, moving well, not in a rushed way, but a gradual, step-by-step return. Mentally practice the movements.
Makes sense. And the big one, can you ever run pain-free again after a major injury?
Well, many people absolutely can. Sarah's a fantastic example, but the book adds a layer. Pain-free isn't always the only or even the ultimate goal. Sometimes it's about learning to run with your body, understanding its new capabilities, maybe its new limitations. Instead of fighting it, it becomes a journey of deeper self-awareness, a different kind of success. Rehab, the book says, is more than just being pain-free. It's rebuilding tissue, regaining strength, and crucially, correcting those dysfunctional patterns we talked about.
It describes the injured state as a liminal space.
Yeah, like a disorienting in-between phase. Runners can lose their identity, feel isolated.
But it's also an opportunity for mental, emotional growth.
Exactly. Embracing that challenge, the book calls it Embrace the Suck, lets you rewire that mind-body connection, build resilience, learn new skills. It can actually future-proof your running.
Okay, so shifting back to prevention and optimization prehab, the book clarifies it's not just general recovery like massage or cross-training, right?
Right. Those are good, beneficial, but true prehab for injury prevention needs to address the root causes, those movement issues.
So it focuses on concepts like dissociation, moving body parts independently.
Yes, and force transference, how well your body works as a unit, transferring energy efficiently, pivoting over a stable foot. This often means doing closed chain exercises.
Exercises where your foot or hand is fixed, like squats or lunges.
Exactly. They work multiple joints together, mimicking running much better than, say, isolated machine exercises.
What about tech? Smartwatches, biomechanical data, cadence, stride length, bounce.
The book acknowledges this data can be really valuable. It can reveal inefficiencies, imbalances, potential risks you wouldn't otherwise notice.
But there's a catch.
A big one. Don't just try to force your numbers to match some generic ideal. Forcing a higher cadence without addressing, say, weak hips, that can just create new problems.
So use the data for insight, not just as a target.
Precisely. Analyze it after your run, use it to guide specific strength work, tailor your training plan to your weaknesses.
And when it comes to training load, it's not just about mileage, is it?
Definitely not. The book busts the myth that all miles are equal. Your fatigue level matters hugely. How you run those miles matters. Frequency, consistency, varying the intensity intelligently, those are key.
And it backs the 80-20 rule.
It does. 80% easy, aerobic volume, 20% higher intensity. Build the base first, then sharpen. It's about running farther and faster, more sustainably, more enjoyably.
Let's dig into a couple more sort of deeper questions that the book raises. How can runners keep a positive mindset with the, let's face it, sometimes repetitive or mundane side of long-distance running, especially when progress feels slow?
That's a great point. The book suggests reframing it. Every single run, even that same loop you do all the time, is actually unique. Your internal state is different, the weather's different, subtle things change.
So it comes back to conscious awareness again.
Always. Choosing what you focus on. Exploring the nuances, your breath, your body's feelings, the tiny details in the environment. By doing that, the book argues, you can find whole new worlds within the boringness. Turn the mundane into something meditative, a chance for self-discovery.
I like that. Okay, final deep question. The book really pushes us to redefine success away from just PRs and winning. So, what is the true measure of a successful run, according to the runner's paradox? And how do we actually cultivate that viewpoint?
A successful run, in this view, is fundamentally about pursuing excellence, which is framed as a mindset, consistent, persistent effort. Showing up is not about the fleeting outcome.
To create your own yardstick.
Exactly. Focus on your personal journey, your own growth.
Yeah.
Embrace the discomfort, learn from the challenges. The success isn't just crossing some line. It's in the deeper self-knowledge you gain, the resilience you build, maybe even just the simple joy you find along the way. Every single mile contributes to that.
That's a great place to wrap up this overview. So that covers the main themes of the runner's paradox. Next week, we're going to unpack more real-life stories. Explore how to apply this whole mindset, not just to running, but to other parts of life too.
Yeah, we'll be diving right into the first chapter of the book, getting into even more detail on these foundational concepts. It should be really interesting.
Definitely. And just a reminder, this whole series is based on the book, The Runner's Paradox. You can find more information, plus the ebook, on the website, therunnersparadox.com.
And hey, if you enjoyed this exploration today, please do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss next week's discussion.
And, for all you busy people out there, these conversations are pretty perfect for listening to during your runs. Might give you something new to think about while you're logging those miles.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey today. We really hope it sparks some new insights and maybe a renewed sense of purpose for your own miles ahead.